After spending the last few months playing the entire Yakuza series, I couldn't wait to get to Judgment and Lost Judgment. I mean, once I heard that there was a spin-off of these games that I had really just grown to love so much, I couldn't wait to experience Kamurocho all over again, but from a different perspective. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing the Judgment series. I've just finished both of the games and the DLC for Lost Judgment. I actually really enjoyed these, so we're going to be talking about if these games are better than Yakuza, how they stack up to the Yakuza series, and if they're worth playing. Now, before we get to that, as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not already, and leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Judgment series. I really enjoyed my time with these games, and I can't wait to talk about them. So before we get into the story and the gameplay of both Judgment and Lost Judgment, let's just quickly summarize what's happening here. So Judgment is a compelling spin-off from the acclaimed Yakuza franchise, offering a fresh and intriguing perspective on the gritty world of Kamurocho. While it shares a lot of the vibrant settings and dynamic gameplay that Yakuza fans have come to know and love, Judgment is a little bit different by distinguishing itself through its focus on legal drama, moral dilemmas, and the more nuanced role of a private detective navigating the city teeming with crime and corruption. So Judgment, let's get into this one first. Judgment is a spin-off from the Yakuza series that follows the story of Takayuki Yagami, a former lawyer turned private detective. Again, set in the world of Kamurocho, a district of Tokyo, the game begins with Yagami's fall from grace after successfully defending a client who was later found guilty of murder. Haunted by this failure, Yagami leaves his legal career behind and becomes a private investigator detective. As he navigates the underworld of Kamurocho, Yagami takes on a complex case involving a series of interesting murders where the victim's eyes are just missing. Yagami's investigation leads him to uncover a conspiracy behind the murder, and as he delves deeper, he discovers the connection between these murders and something else. Of course, I'm not going to spoil it because I don't want to spoil the story in case you haven't played the game yet. Yagami must navigate this treacherous world, facing off both against Yakuza and corrupt officials, while also dealing with his own personal demons and remnants of his past. And throughout the game, Yagami teams up with friends and former colleagues, including his loyal partner Kaito, to unravel this mystery. The story of Judgment is a gripping mix of legal drama, detective work, and action, successfully blending the gritty atmosphere of the Yakuza series with a new perspective on the criminal underworld especially. In the end, does Yagami's relentless pursuit of the truth force those responsible for the crimes to face justice, even if it costs him everything? It's a really interesting and compelling story, solidifying Yagami as one of my favorite leads in a Yakuza game. I mean, spin-off of course, but man, really compelling stuff. I loved Yagami. Now, as far as gameplay of Judgment, it combines the action-packed combat of the Yakuza series that we know and love with the addition of detective work and exploration. The combat is super dynamic, allowing Yagami to switch between two different styles, and of course, as the Yakuza series is known for, you can use items in battle by picking up street signs or whatever and just using them in a pinch if you need to. And like other Yakuza games, the game also features a progression system where you can unlock and improve Yagami's abilities over time. Now, in addition to combat, a significant part of the gameplay revolves around Yagami's detective work. You'll participate in various investigation activities such as tailing suspects, interrogating characters, gathering evidence, and solving puzzles like lockpicking and spying on suspects with drones. Exploration and Judgment really plays a crucial role as you navigate this world of Kamurocho from a different perspective, finding clues, interacting with different characters, and of course you have your side quests as well that you can do, all of which contribute to the overarching narrative of the game and really does a great job at immersing you in this game. Now, hang on, before we get into any more Judgment stuff, I want to let you guys know that a whopping 93% of the people that watch my channel on the regular are not subscribed. So if you like weekly RPG, JRPG, and occasionally Yakuza and Judgment style content, I would love to have you here week in and week out. Anyway, back to the video. Now, next up is Lost Judgment, taking place a couple years after the events of Judgment, picking up with a seemingly unrelated incident where a police officer is caught doing some naughty things on a train. And during his trial, he shocks the court by revealing the location of a murdered body that leads to the discovery of a prominent bullying case that went unresolved. Now, this revelation suggests that this individual, Akihiro Ehara, is somewhat involved in a deeper conspiracy, prompting Yagami to dig a lot deeper into the case. Now, being the detective that he is, Yagami uncovers a web of corruption and violence that links the bullying incidents, revenge-driven actions, murders. It's really interesting, and the case delves into the dark side of the Japanese education system, exploring themes of bullying, justice, and the impact of unchecked power. Now, of course, I don't want to spoil the story, but it is really, really interesting, and eventually Yagami gets himself stuck in a cycle of vengeance where those affected by the tragedies take the law into their own hands. Now, the story of Lost Judgment was really, really great. I thought it was a lot more, I don't want to say compelling than Judgment, but Lost Judgment had me in total shock and awe a lot more than Judgment did. A lot of real head-turning moments, a lot of real moral dilemma kind of moments where you know that the bad guy is doing the wrong thing, but you kind of feel for him anyway. It really makes you question your sense of morality. It's really, really, really deep. So in summary, Lost Judgment really deepens the narrative of Yagami's world, blending legal and detective work with intense action, and again forces you to question the nature of justice in a society where the lines between right and wrong are increasingly blurred. Now, the gameplay of Lost Judgment builds on the foundation that Judgment laid, introducing a couple of different things. The combat is expanded with the addition of a couple more fighting styles, providing a little bit more depth and versatility, and investigation mechanics are also enhanced, offering more complex detective work with new tools such as a noise amplifier, eavesdropping. You even get a dog at one point for, it's kind of like more side stuff, but you can get a dog, of course. And a large portion of the game takes place within a school where Yagami actually gets into a school and he's more or less an advisor to some students. So I thought it was a really, really interesting way to change the scenery from Kamurocho to Ijincho, which of course was the setting of Like a Dragon. But funnily enough, even though you play in the same city as Like a Dragon, it feels like a new city because you're focused on different areas and different things. There's enhanced traversal mechanics here as well, including parkour elements. Yagami can climb buildings, navigate obstacles. You even get a skateboard as well, so you can traverse the town a little bit more quickly. And as usual, there's richly detailed open world with side quests, mini games, and lots of activities that are going to really blend the narrative-driven detective work with action-oriented gameplay that, we all liked from the Yakuza series, but it's just with a little bit extra on top. And lastly, if you guys are interested in the DLC, which I just finished a couple of days ago, I really enjoyed that. You have the Kaito Files, which takes place just like a year or so, or a couple of months after the ending of Lost Judgment, where you play as Masaharu Kaito, Yagami's partner. And in this standalone story, Kaito takes on a personal case that brings him back to his past. Very, very interesting. It's a little bit on the shorter side. You can complete that in about 7 to 8 hours. But, I thought it was a really great way to wrap up the series of Judgment so far. I mean, I'm really holding out for a third game. Now let's actually get into what I wanted to share today. The whole Yakuza versus Judgment thing. Is one game better? Is Yakuza better than Judgment? Is Judgment better than Yakuza? Well, let's actually discuss that now. Yakuza and Judgment share many similarities, particularly in terms of gameplay mechanics, and of course their shared setting of Kamurocho, and with Lost Judgment we have Ijincho. But they differ significantly in tone, narrative focus, and the role that their protagonists play. Of course, in Yakuza, we have Kiryu, the former Yakuza member, deeply entangled in the world of crime, and the stories often revolve around his struggles with loyalty, honor, the complexities of the criminal underworld. Now, in contrast, Judgment and Lost Judgment follow Yagami, a former lawyer turned private detective who approaches the Yakuza world as an outsider seeking justice. Yagami's narrative is more focused on legal drama, investigation, and uncovering the truth behind crimes. Now, the tone and themes of the two games also differ. Yakuza is known for melodramatic storytelling, blending intense emotional narratives about crime, loyalty, redemption, and of course, there's the mix of like absurd, over-the-top humor stuff. I mean, if you've played any of the games, you know that there are some really funny moments that tend to derail the seriousness of the story, but it's actually quite welcome. And on the other hand, Judgment adopts a more serious tone, emphasizing drama, moral dilemmas, and detective work, delving into darker subject matter like murder, corruption, societal issues with themes on justice and the gray areas of the law. And in terms of gameplay, Yakuza is primarily known for the brawler-style combat, open-world exploration, mini-games, and action overall being a central focus, and Kiryu frequently finds himself in situations where he must fight his way through hordes of enemies. And while Judgment retains a lot of those action elements, it places a stronger emphasis on detective gameplay, including tailing suspects, gathering evidence, solving puzzles, engaging in stealth. These investigative elements are central to Judgment, reflecting Yagami's role as a private detective. And finally, while both of the series here, the games, are set in Kamurocho, they offer different perspectives on the city. Again, this is what I mentioned about Ijincho and Like a Dragon and Lost Judgment. While they're set in the same town, you get a different experience. while in that same town. Like I said, it almost feels like a different town. It's a different experience overall. But Yakuza portrays everything through the lens of the Yakuza lifestyle. And in contrast, Judgment presents Kamurocho from the perspective of a detective investigating the city's underbelly. Now, overall, Yakuza is more focused on the dramatic lives of Yakuza members, while Judgment offers a narrative driven by legal drama, detective work, and the pursuit of justice. So it's really interesting how both of these games can coexist, I suppose, in the same universe. There's really no crossover with any characters from either of the two series. It would be interesting to see that eventually. But I just really like the approach of having a game set in the same world with mostly similar mechanics, but it feels like a completely different game than the Yakuza series. So to answer the question of the title of the video, is Judgment better than Yakuza? Is Yakuza better than Judgment? No, but they both complement each other really, really well. And I really, really enjoyed Judgment coming off of playing the entire Yakuza series this year. It took me maybe 2 or 3 hours to get into Judgment and get over the hump of, oh, this isn't a typical Yakuza game. It feels familiar, but it's a little bit different. I really, really enjoyed my time with these games, and I'm really, really excited for the future of the Judgment series. I'm hoping we get a Judgment 3. Some of the most compelling and thrilling stories I've played in a game that isn't a JRPG. Honestly, I highly recommend that you guys check out Judgment and Lost Judgment, and of course subsequently the Kaito Files. Some really great, compelling characters, thrilling stories that you won't even know the answers to until the moment before they are revealed. Seriously amazing stuff. So those are my thoughts on the Judgment series, and I'm sticking to them. So thanks so much again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Judgment series, and we'll see you again on the next video next week. Bye-bye.